Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Good evening. Happy Thursday, everyone. My name is LaKeesha Hines, and
I am Willie Hines.
you're watching the Firestarter Show. Typically, it's me. It's me, but we get blessed once a month with my baby daddy, my boyfriend, my husband, my man, my manager, all that, right? We get blessed with his presence. So thank you for being here. I love when you
Always a pleasure.
I
Always
love
a
when you
pleasure.
join
Yes.
me. I do. You all, we are so excited about the topic that we're discussing tonight. It's about relation shifts, not ships. Okay, shifts. Like you are shifting, like a night shift, right?
Mhm.
Relation shifts. And we know that we go through so many different things in life, where we go through all these different changes, and we do go through a lot of different
Yeah.
shifts, and especially as caregivers, right? As caregivers of children with unique needs, with special abilities, as we like to call it, we know there's a whole lot of shifting
That has to
that
go.
that has to happen, that takes place. And so we're going to talk about some of the shifts that take place personally and professionally, and we're going to identify, cultivate, and show you how to balance healthy personal and professional relationships. But first, we want to share this quote with you that we found, that we talked about it. We just thought it was such a powerful quote. So you want to share?
There's a fundamental shift that social media necessitates in business today: the need to transition from me first to we first thinking.
Simon Mainwaring is the person who said that shift, or that need to
Mhm.
transition from me first to we first is so important. Why do you think that that's so important in the professional, like, work environment?
Well, the professional environment allows you to cultivate relationships and experience growth with those people that you are around. And you can build that trust when they know that you are in it for the greater good, not just yourself. There's going to be some tough times in any profession. You want to know that your teammate, your manager, your peer, whomever, has a sense of, let's take care of this together as a team. And if everybody on the team does that, the team will grow and be successful in whatever ventures that they have.
So you're talking about the professional aspect of
Mm-hmm.
shifting from that me first to we first thinking, but I want to talk about
Mm-hmm.
the personal relationship, because if I enter into a relationship and it's all about me and it's never about we, then that means that there's certain needs and wants that you have that are not being
Not
met,
being fulfilled.
that
Correct.
are not being fulfilled. And as caregivers, you know, what we like to say is me first, right? It typically is never me first, and it's typically always our kids first. So I think as a caregiver, we automatically
We go
a
that.
lot of times
Yeah.
shift to that we first. What's going to be best for our child, what's best for us as a
Mm-hmm.
family or whatever, but we don't think about ourselves. So now we're really about to blow your mind, because we just told you that you need to move from me first to we first. But as it pertains to your self care and your mental and emotional health and well being, you have to have a balance between we first and me first.
Right. And I think the thing with taking care of yourself and that personal growth, it's ensure that you're taken care of. And there's some things you have to do. You're responsible for your happiness, those type items. And you have to demand your you time at times. But the ultimate goal is to ensure that you are able to pour out into others. That's the
Mm,
main goal. So if you're able to fill your tank, get assistance with filling your tank, you'll have much more gas to go ahead and keep going to support, care for, love for, take care of others.
absolutely. Absolutely. 100% agree with that. So, the mindset, right? How do we shift in our relationships? It all begins with our mindset and the
Mhm.
way that we think and how we process information. So,
So
there's this organization.
it was a
There's
rap
this
group
rap
that I
group.
love, the Wu Tang Clan.
Is that present tense or past tense?
Present tense, present
Okay.
tense. So they had this song called Cream. Cash rules everything around me. And as
Cream,
a
get the money. Dollar,
dollar
dollar bill,
bills,
y'all.
y'all. So that methodology has um, some place in professional environments, as you want to ensure that you'll be taken care of, you're compensated appropriately, so that you can take care of your family.
Mm-hmm.
But it can't be all about that. Sometimes you're entering into relationships with companies, and it's more about what can you learn, what
Right.
knowledge can you attain
Mm-hmm.
to assist with your professional growth.
Mm-hmm.
Professional growth doesn't always necessarily mean promotion at that time, but there are some opportunities to grow within the space that you're in. So if you make it about your personal growth and ensuring that you are growing along with everybody around you, then you'll get that cash at the end of the day. Trust me.
So basically, what I hear you saying is that can't be like the focus
every day, all day. Can't have that as the focus every day, all day.
All
but
right.
I understand it because we are taught to grow, make as much money as it can so we can be happy.
Yeah. So we have to shift from cream
to team, yes.
To team, right? Where it's the team rules everything around me, because we are, especially in the workforce, we are in these team-based environments. But now let's bring it home when we're talking about being caregivers of children with disabilities. Teamwork is critical to our success.
Yes.
When we're not on the same page and we're not working together as a team, it can feel overwhelming and it can be exhausting with all of the work that comes with being Hello, everybody. We're sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
A technical issue, but thank you for hanging in here with us. So basically, we were talking about shifting from cream to teams, and that was literally all about developing this ability to work together as a unit. And we were talking about how it's so important when you're a caregiver and you have a child with disabilities that we do have to utilize the abilities of our child or our children with special abilities and allow them to be a part of the team, right? So we're working together as the parents, whether we're together or we're co-parenting, doesn't matter. We still have to work together as a team, and we allow that child with disabilities and the non-disabled siblings to be able to support and work as a team. So what we need to do in order to do that, we got to leverage our resources.
Yeah. Any and everybody. You're not going to know everything in a professional environment nor at a home environment. There's no manual regarding parenting. There's not a manual, but there's the Bible. There's the Bible. There's the Bible in regards to how to have relationships. But that day to day gets daunting at times. So you have to leverage the appropriate resources to ensure that you get the best situations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we want to make sure that we are cultivating and sustaining relationships. We have to cultivate relationships with each other, with our kids. We have to talk to them. We have to communicate with them. We need to try to figure out what it is that they want and that they need, and their opinion matters. And then, you know, in a professional standpoint, you can talk about this, that reputation, building a reputation,
building your brand. That brand is who you are, and people will talk about you and talk with you just as you do. And I'm not saying talk about in a negative way. They will discuss you and what you bring to the table. So having your brand at the forefront of the things that you do, and making sure that you do not do anything to impact your brand, is extremely important. The last thing is about being a leader. Sometimes people feel that in order to be a leader, people have to report to you.
Or that you have to have a title.
Yeah. You can be a leader in the space that you're in and lead. And that way, again, just like building your reputation and brand, they know that in any situation, you're going to step out as a leader. A leader does not always vocal, but your actions show that you're to take charge if needed.
Absolutely. And, you know, in our home, right, our kids can be leaders. We encourage our kids to be leaders when they go to school, when they go out in the community, but they need to be leaders here. And part of that is giving them responsibilities within the home, giving them chores, giving them things like, this is our home, this is our neighborhood, it's our community, right? Or whatever you call it. And you need to be a contributing member of society, okay? And make sure that you are doing your part. So, you know, you learned how to move from being an individual contributor to being a team player, even as a leader, right? There are certain things that you would do that would help support the team. All right. So we love quotes. And so I want to read acronyms, but I want to read this quote to you. It says, true leaders always practice the 3 R's: respect for self, respect for others, responsibility for all their actions. Think about that. If you have ever gotten into conflict with someone who was in a leadership role, just think about work right now, right? If there was a conflict, it was because of one of these 3 reasons. Either there was no respect for themselves, therefore they couldn't respect others, or they didn't respect you as the employee or colleague or whatever the case may be, or they didn't take responsibility for their actions. And that is the same thing that we expect in this special needs community, that we will have respect for ourselves, that our children will have respect for themselves, that we will respect others and our children will respect others, and that we all take responsibility for our actions. And so leadership, there's an acronym for it: influence, which, well, you need to see the diagram, but it's taking different letters out of this acronym: influence, teamwork, communication, decision, management, contribution, vision, ethic, motivation, and responsibility. And the one thing that I want to point out is about vision. The people perish because they don't have a vision. So we have to have a vision for us as caregivers. We also have to have a vision for our children, and we need to motivate them and encourage them to have a vision for themselves. All right. So shift work to self-employed work. This was me doing shift work, and now I'm self-employed, and especially as a caregiver, you know, it was very important that I was able to find a way to generate income, but still be available to my family. And that it was very difficult prior to COVID. COVID hit, and while it was devastating, it's a pandemic and all of those things, right? But it still opened up so many opportunities for us to be able to work from home, part-time, working in the, you know, cyberspace or whatever the case may be, and be in the virtual world. So benefits of it, right? And so that mindset shift from shift work to self-employed work, man, relationship building is a must. have to do that. We have to be flexible. It has to be something that is financially fitting so we make sure that we're still doing what we need to do to take care of what we need to take care of. Trying to find that work-life balance. That was so important to me, because if I was spending all of this time working outside of the home, which I was when I was doing shift work, I would just be falling apart when I got home, just tired, dog tired, no brain juice, like no energy. And you were the same way when you were having to work 12-hour days. Like it was crazy. But I understand when you're in that season, you do what you have to do. But if you're able to find that work-life balance, that's so important, because one of the things we talk about all the time with caregivers is that lack of self-care.
Yep.
And so when you do move from shift work to self-employed work, there is more responsibility. Why? Because you were your own boss, you were your own employee many times. And so there's more responsibility. But I will say that whatever it is that you're thinking that you're going to do, that you pray about it, you plan, you prepare, and then you proceed. You proceed. All right. So now we want to talk about identifying those healthy personal and professional relationships. And we'll talk about the 3 C's at some point. But there are certain things that I think should be in place, we think should be in place when you're talking about having a healthy personal relationship as well as a healthy professional relationship. And the first thing is autonomy. Autonomy. Your ability to be able to make decisions for yourself, to have your own opinion, to be able to express that opinion. You need to have some autonomy, and there's going to potentially be some form of management, or I should say, I don't like to say micromanaging, but there has to be some form of accountability, right?
And guardrails.
Of course, so we don't go off course. There has to be some of that, but you still should have some form of autonomy to be able to do your job.
Yeah, definitely opportunities for growth. You want to seek those, take advantage of those. That way you are growing in the space that you're in. That will lead to promotions. It will lead to healthier relationships, because if you have an opportunity to grow, or a growth mindset, that's what you're looking for others around you to do, including your spouse, including your children, including your family. So look for opportunities for them, for you and your family, those who you are responsible for, to grow as well.
Yeah. Important too, with our kids with disabilities, they want autonomy to be able to make decisions and trust it for themselves. I think that's really important. And then there are always opportunities for growth. Not be at the level that we want it to be or we desire it to be, but at the end of the day, we all can grow, we all can learn, and we can improve. So we should be looking for those opportunities to grow. Then again, that work-life balance, that's so important.
Yes.
When we have that,
just stated.
Yeah, that's so important when we have that. Meeting needs, when you're in a relationship with someone, be it romantically or platonically, you want to have your needs met. Now, what if you don't know what your needs are?
Man, can't expect someone to meet those needs if you don't know what they are.
We cannot
they will consistently fail.
Yes, and we cannot hold people accountable to something that they never knew was an expectation. Right. So we have to be extremely clear. We have to be concise. We have to be direct when we're expressing what our needs are. Like I said, romantically, platonically, with our children, because there are times where we would communicate something. We thought it was clear, but the children didn't have an understanding. They didn't do what we asked them to do. And then we're frustrated with them, but really it's us because we didn't communicate clearly. So we want to make sure that we're sharing what those needs are and that we're meeting each other's needs to the best of our ability.
Additionally, you want to search for joy, not necessarily happiness.
Why don't we want to look for happiness?
Happiness is a result of things happening around you. So if you continuously focus on happiness, that will let you down a lot more than it's going to pick you up. So focusing on that continuous joy, those happenings, those things that are happening are just momentous items. They occur spur of the moment. It can be something that you know is going to happen here in a year or two, and your attitude, your mood, your joy can be impacted by that. But if we seek joy first, you're going to find a silver lining in everything that happens, and makes you a lot more patient, a lot more how to say this, people want to be around you a little bit more.
Oh, yeah,
If you have that
people are
contagious joy.
drawn to that.
Yeah.
It's contagious. Yeah. So we definitely want to make sure that we are seeking joy and not happiness. Now, I didn't say this at the beginning. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Let me know who you are and where you're streaming from so I can shout you out. I love to do that. We love to do that. We're going to take a quick break. Do not swipe left or right. I need you to stay put. The only reason why you should get up and move away is if you're going to invite somebody else to tune in. There's more on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Firestarter Show. Hey. So guess what? Support for caregivers. We are having our very first cosplay party on November the 4th, which is in 2 weeks, everybody.
A week and a couple days.
A week and a couple days, right? So please make sure you have your face in the place. It's our fundraiser. We're raising funds to be able to send kids to camp for the very first time, special needs camp, and give caregivers a much needed break, right? So please be sure to tell all your friends and family. You can go to our website, supportforcaregivers.org. You can go to our Facebook page. It's there. There's information on the YouTube channel. The video you just watched is on our YouTube channel. So please, we would love to see you. Get your tickets today, secure your spot, and bring your whole entire family because it's for ages 5 and up. And everybody's dressing up, okay? It is a costume party. There's no excuse. Those of you who celebrate Halloween, you got costumes, so there's no excuse. We're giving you an opportunity to wear those costumes one more time before you outgrow them. All right, so let's continue our conversation about relationships. And boy, we love these 3 C's that we're going to share with you now. These are the 3 C's of managing relationships. And the very first one is one that I'm going to let you talk about because this is an area of opportunity for you.
Well, communication. And I will take ownership of communicating not communicating the best at times. The thing about communication is that I want to stress is that the person that talks the most is not necessarily the best communicator. And sometimes people feel that way. There's body language. That's a form of communication. Your tone is a form of communication. What you say, how you say it, are different forms of communication. So those skills that you have to learn and ensure that you're communicating with your partner or co-workers the way they want to be communicated with. So again, focusing on the other person who is going to hear those words that you say. Additionally, understanding that the person that speaks the most may not necessarily be the best communicator. Facts.
I was that person. I thought I was a great communicator because I use a lot of words. And it wasn't effective. It was not effective. You have to learn, to your point, how each other need to be communicated with. And with our children, you know, some of our kids, they can't handle being like too, right? And come at them with praise before you critique, right? So you just have to learn the personality of the person who you're communicating with. And most importantly, try to think about, you know, how you would want someone to deliver information to you. Okay. All right. So the second C is commitment. Commitment. If we're talking about managing healthy relationships, you have to be committed to that relationship. You have to be committed to sticking it out through thick and thin, whether it's tough, whether it's easy, whether you're in a good season or a difficult season. You have to be committed to that relationship. And again, this isn't just about romantic, it's platonic relationships. It's a relationship with our kids. We have to be committed to investing in them and pouring into them and raising them, right? Because that's our assignment as parents. And so we have to be committed to managing that relationship.
And lastly, is connection. Again, there are many ways to connect with the spouse.
Yeah. many ways.
But definitely you want to have appropriate connections with your children, individually and collectively. Our children with special needs have special connections. So you want to tune in and tap into what they like, what are their dislikes, what motivates them, what inspires them to in efforts so that they can be their best selves. And naturally they pour back into you during those connection times as well. Our typical children want to make sure we have those, again, individual and collective connections. Two children could be raised in the same household with two totally different personalities,
yes,
two totally different attitudes, two totally different outlooks on life. So you want to make sure you tap into those very individually. That way they know that they matter. It's a unique relationship that you and the parents can have.
Absolutely. And I think it's important too, when we're talking about connection as caregivers, we oftentimes are disconnected. And many, many times we're isolated and we're alone, and we don't have to be. You know, that's one of the things that was really important for us as the co-founders of Support for Caregivers, was that we created a safe space for caregivers to be able to come together, communicate, connect, and really just be themselves. And so that they could have an outlet, so that they didn't feel isolated and alone, and that they could connect. So that's also, you can get information about our support group on our website as well, supportforcaregivers.org, and support4caregivers.org to learn more about our support group and how you can participate in that, because we're face-to-face and virtual. So you have no excuse not to attend if you're a caregiver of someone with special abilities. But we want to make sure that we stay connected. That's so important for us all, for our mental and emotional well-being. So another quote I want to share with you about communication. Effective communication requires more than an exchange of information. When done right, communication fosters understanding, strengthens relationships, improves teamwork, and builds trust. When it's effective communication, look at all of the benefits. Isn't that worth you taking the time to learn how to communicate? Yes. Oh, this is one of your favorite quotes, right? About commitment.
Stepping back to commitment. Commitment means staying loyal to what you said you were going to do long after the mood has left you. We have all been to the gym.
Yes. At the beginning of the year, the mood that we're in is we're going to get fit and we're going to get in shape.
They're calling you. The signs are out waving. Get this gym membership, $0 down. $10 the first month.
10 cents, a penny.
You know. So just staying committed to whatever it is, because it's not anything worth having is worth working for. So those muscles will have to get working, and it's going to hurt, but you have to remain committed, just like the same things in our marriages and especially our marriages with that have children with disabilities. Commitment is something that you have to really strive to get, but by communication and connecting, it eases the burden of the commitment.
Yes. And connection. This is by Brene Brown. And I love Brene Brown. She says, I define connection as the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued, when they can give and receive without judgment, and when they derive sustenance and strength from the relationship. That is so important to me personally. If I am not getting sustenance and strength from a relationship that I am in, I don't want to be a part of it. I'm telling you. So we connect by sharing our goals and dreams and desires. We connect by spending quality time together, by being open and honest, by being selfless and serving. This is how we connect. And that's in every relationship, romantic, platonic, with our kids. That's how we can connect. And so when we're talking about, again, cultivating those healthy personal and professional relationships, we want to invest in people. Because we invest in others, they invest right back into us.
A part of great relationships are admitting when you're wrong, admit it, be transparent and honest about it.
We've had to talk to our kids about that as well, and say that, hey, you know what? Mommy and daddy made this decision, but we messed up. We
jacked this up.
We were not right in this, and we're sorry. We apologize.
Be genuine. Again, this is all things about being transparent. Be authentic, be dependable, and as LaKeesha stated earlier, be respectful. One of those R's.
All right. So now this is one of my favorites, that we have to be not only loving, but we have to be lovable. sometimes it is hard to love someone who's being mean and ugly and I don't mean like they look ugly. I mean their behavior is ugly, right? So if you want to be loved, be lovable.
Yes.
Right? And be diverse and be inclusive. And we want to value and consider other people's opinions as an individual throughout the relationships that you build. So important to do that. Now, this is one where caregivers, I think, often struggle is with setting boundaries and with prioritizing.
Prioritization, yeah.
Yeah. Why is it so hard for us to set boundaries?
We, as caregivers and parents of children with disabilities, sometimes we feel very isolated in what we do and where we are and things, but sometimes we need to remain safe as well. So we have to have those appropriate relationships, appropriate communications with those that understand where we're coming from at times, and efforts for those boundaries to be set appropriately.
I think we struggle a lot with setting boundaries because we've never been taught how. And you know, when you do have a child with special needs, like there are no boundaries, right? They're constantly going. And many times we can't even have boundaries with them. Like, think about the child who's incontinent, like our son. And it's like he doesn't have really a whole lot of privacy because we have to still take care of him in that way. So it's hard a lot of times to set these boundaries because you just haven't been taught how. You don't know how. But it is important when we're talking about interacting with others that our yeses mean yes and our no's mean no. We have to be intentional about when we say yes, that it is for the right reason. We're not saying yes because, I don't want to hurt your feelings or, I don't want to upset you. We're saying yes because we have the time, we have the energy, we feel led. Maybe you prayed about it and you feel led to do this thing, then you move forward. But if you're saying yes and it is not for a healthy reason, that is going to cause you to be bitter, resentful. That will impact the relationship. So your yeses mean everything about the relationship. So your yeses need to mean yes, and your no's need to be firm no's. And you do need to prioritize yourself. That's how you balance a healthy relationship with others. And most importantly, yourself, is you make time for you. So important.
So with that being said, we'll quote this last quote from Albert Einstein. Information is not knowledge. The only source of knowledge is experience. You need experience to gain wisdom. So I'm going to say this. The information that we provided will assist with your relationships. That way your relationship will not sink.
Oh, yes. I love it. I love it. I did
that all by myself.
You all by yourself. Well, I want to say thank you, Kaylee, for letting us know that you're watching. We just wanted to shout you out and say thank you so much for watching and tuning in, and everyone else who's watching. We appreciate it. And those of you who catch the replay, because I know you catch the replay, we appreciate you doing that as well. So we hope to see you at the cosplay party on November 4th. Remember, go to the website to learn more information. And you all have a great evening. And I will see you same time, same place next week.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Good night, everybody.